back a gear, don't touch the brakes, just go back one gear and then accelerate round Brandish down into Ilbury. Back another gear, no brakes, just chuck her in and get her out on the throttle. Just careful of that wall there. Don't feel your confidence as you're going in there, you know, if that wall, anything goes wrong at all. I tell you what I've had there as well, is people taking pictures on there and that big flash, you know, you get like a welder's flash going in there, it sort of takes your attention, and I've made a mistake or two there, so yeah, I'll never be waiting for that every time. But anyway, here we are, going into the signpost corner. You see there, don't go back to bottom, just stay in second gear. Rev her up into Bedstead, and accelerate out of Bedstead. I have a mate of mine, Yvonne Murphy there, she gives me, because you can sort of lose your way around here, you know, I know I'm just on the end of the first lap, but when you go to the second lap, you need to pull in for petrol, you know, pull in the petrol, get your tyres changed, not on the 600, but you know, to get a fresh visor on, get your screen cleaned, and you know, sometimes you come in on your second lap and you're thinking, now is this my second lap, or is it my third lap, or is it my first lap, you know, you just sort of, you get a bit, you know, all of a dither, you know, you've got so much going on in your head and you sometimes can forget which lap that you're on. So Yvonne there, she just sticks a pit board out when I'm on the end of the second lap, just to remind me to come in for fuel. But here we are, start finish again. That didn't take long, did it? 1 plus 2, so that's good for me. I'm not doing such a bad job. So from where I had the pit board at Rencullen, I never mentioned, did I? The pit board at Rencullen with Andy Kershaw, you know, the Radio 4 DJ. Hell of a boy he is, hell of a boy. Could learn a thing or two off that man. I think he's just been come back from Cambodia. That's where he has. Interesting bloke. Anyway, pit board. That's my second pit board. That's young John there. Young John at the Gooseneck. So here we are now. Like I said before, head down, house up, get tucked in, ready for the run up the mountain. And here we are. The bike's having to work fairly hard up here. All right, it's not bumpy, but it's a lot smoother going on the bike. You know, it's not rattling the bike about, it's not rattling everything loose on it, you know, the bike's, you know, you can't see, you can really give it a good impression on the telly there, but it's a pretty steep, the bike's having to work really hard to pull up here, especially pulling me as well. I mean, I'm not, what would I be? I'm about 10, I've been on a bit of a diet really, but I think, what did I get to? I think the start of this year I was about, I was knocking on 12 stone I think, but now I've got down to 10 stone 8, so I'm quite happy with that. And look there, I can see someone else in the distance, I think. Yeah, 10 seconds in front of me was Adrian Archibald, and 10 seconds in front of Archibald was Cameron Donald. A bit of an up and down year for Cameron at the minute. You know, he showed his quality last year at the TT. You know what they're doing. Thursday night of practice, he did 131.5, and everyone was just gobsmacked at the speed that he'd gone round. And then the next night, the Friday night, come off and separated his shoulder and injured a few other bits and bobs. He's never really been on it since. With the Northwest 200, which is another big race before the TT, that's sand. I don't know, would anyone know what sandbagging means? It's a bit like poker face. You know, the Northwest 200 is a big event, but really all it is to blow the cobblers out for the TT. You know, the TT being, you know, the pinnacle of road racing, which it is. You know, whenever everyone thinking was he just out there for you know, to blow his cobwebs out and just, you know, sort of sandbagging, but we'll see. His TT hasn't quite gone to plan at the moment. Everyone was coming to the TT, you know, like I was, whether John McGuinness or Ian Hutchinson was thinking the same. We thought Cameron was going to be the man to catch, but he's just not looking like it at the moment. You know, here we are, I've caught probably, what, 2/3 of the way around the course, and I've already caught 20 seconds on, so he's not quite that it is, probably hasn't quite got the legs on my 600. My 600 is, you can see the speed of it, it's not slow at all, definitely not. So here we are, Sean got back to get back to what I was talking about on the track again. So here we are coming up Aylward's Rise. And this is probably one of my favourite parts of the course. Not this little bit here, I've never quite sussed this job out. Back a gear there, back 2 here. And I call this bit sort of Aylward's Rise, or the mountain box, I think. But this, from this point here to back to Keppel Gate, are one of my favourite parts of the course. I mean, you can see here, this is the start of the 32nd. You see, the 32nd is 3 left-handers. See, first one there, second one there, third one there. And that takes a bit of building up to that, just because it demands 100% commitment to get down there and into the new windy corner. Well, I say new, I think they resurfaced it about 3 years ago, and you can see the camber on it there. And now on the run into the 33rd. Now remember, the 32nd is 3 left-handers and the 33rd is 2 left-handers. You have to get that right. And I'm a bit simple sometimes, I keep forgetting. But anyway, here we go, going into the 33rd. Back a gear, keep it tight to the fence on the right-hand side there, back another gear. And these white lines on the road are really pronounced white lines here. It unsettles the bike going over, and you'll see what I'll do on this last little bit of Keppel Gate. I'll just hang back, you see there, let the gap, and then I'll accelerate before him and accelerate and try and pass him down into Craignabar. A little bit of back brake there to stop it wheeling. You can see I've got the drive out there, and that's allowed me to pass Cameron down into here and just do it on the brakes. Jobs are done. Ooh, you see, I went down to bottom gear there and I shouldn't have done really. But I think that was probably I was probably a bit discombobulated, just having to pass camera on the inside there. Went back to bottoms, you know, just lost that bit of momentum again and went back to bottom, but I shouldn't have done that. I'll note that for the second lap. You know, you see going around there in first gear, just losing momentum all the way down into Brandish, I think we'll call this. This was done, I think, 2007. Brandish. You see, before this used to be back to 3 gears into a tighter left-hander, and now we're going into, you know, from 6th gear down to 5th, and you can see how fast there it was. You just go back a gear, don't touch the brakes, just go back 1 gear and then accelerate around Brandish down into Ilbury. Back another gear, no brakes, just chuck her in and get her out on the throttle. Just careful of that wall there. Don't fill you with confidence as you're going in there, you know, if that wall, anything goes wrong at all. I tell you what I've had there as well, is people taking pictures on there, and that big flash, you know, you get like a welder's flash going in there, it sort of takes your attention, and yeah, I've made a mistake or two there, so yeah, I'm maybe waiting for that every time. But anyway, here we are, going into signpost corner. You see there, so don't go back to bottom, just stay in 2nd gear. Rev her up into Bedstead, and accelerate out of Bedstead. I had a mate of mine, Yvonne Murphy there, she gives me, because you can sort of lose your way around here, you know, I know I'm just on the end of my first lap, but when you go to the second lap, you need to pull in for petrol. You know, pull in the petrol, get your tyres changed, not on the 600, but you know, to get a fresh visor on, get your screen cleaned. And you know, but sometimes you come in on your second lap and you're thinking, now is this my second lap, or is it my third lap, or is it my first lap? You know, you just sort of, you get a bit, you know, all of a dither. You know, you've got so much going on in your head, and you sometimes can forget which lap that you're on. So Yvonne there, she just sticks a pit board out when I'm on the end of the second lap, just to remind me to come in for fuel. But here we are, start and finish again. That didn't take long, did it? Yeah, right. Fingers crossed for tomorrow, eh?